All right, Shalom. First and foremost, gonna give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. Peace salutations to the men that's out here pushing the truth. All right, and Shalom to the elect. All right, just finna get into this quick lesson. All right, on prophecy. All right, because prophecy, is everything. All right, you know, because what we want righteousness to flourish throughout the earth. All right. So what prophecy has to what uh, um, play out. All right. Because within the prophecies, what Esau, Edom, so-called white man is going to be put out of rulership. All right, and Yahweh Shah is going to be the that righteous ruler. You know, that's gonna make everything, literally everything, prosper in life. So it's like it. So I'm about to jump straight into it. Revelations 19 and verse 10. It says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship Yahweh Shem Yahushua, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy." All right. So, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, all right, they're all about the prophecy. All right. And that's how we got to be too. All right. That's how we got to be too. Because, hey, if we're not, conducting ourselves, in the manner of what that prophecy is about to play out. It has already been playing out, But I'm talking about, when niggas get to dying on a mass level, all right, because that's within the prophecies, all right. People just dying, all right. And because it's gonna be we're about to be at the trend, or we are at the trend. What's the word? I believe I'm using the right word. Transition, of power. All right. And guess what? Before Yahweh Shem Yahushua, sets up his kingdom. All right. What he has to take this one down. All right. America, Babylon the Great. But this is Revelations 1 and 3. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So see, the time is at hand. All right, the time of what? These prophecies, being fulfilled. All right, because what? Hey, the MOTB. All right, that's one of the major prophecies. All right, which is the micro C hip. All right, that little grain of rice that could be implemented in your right hand or your forehead. That's gonna be implemented soon. Lord willing, next year, 2026. So what? So you are blessed if you're what? Walking. Conducting yourselves. In a way that's pleasing to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, I'm gonna read that again. Revelations 1 and 3. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy. All right, and many people can, listen to this video, or listen to the brothers out there, listen to us out there in the highways and byways. They can hear us, but they don't. It's an angel that's blocking them. It's an angel that's blocking their understanding. I'm like, wow, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? So you're blessed if you can literally, or if you can understand, what we're talking about. We are blessed. All right, we are highly favored of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, that we can hear and understand. All right, because I believe you go into that word hear. It go, one of the definitions is what to be endowed with with understanding, something like that. So this is a thing. What the scripture say? What let me get something real quick. Just real quick. It's quick. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, and verse 8. For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All right. So it is a gift that you can have faith, have the faith to believe, and understand these scriptures. All right, understand the prophecies. All right, and especially if you're conducting yourselves, in a way that's pleasing to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All right, you're blessed. All right. It says, "Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein." All right. See, that's you. We gotta be walking. All right. We gotta be walking that righteous path. All right. As it says in 2nd Ezra 7th chapter, or Matthew 7:13, talks about that straight gate. We gotta walk that straight gate. All right. And then at the same time, well, not at the same time, because walking that straight gate is what a position of difficulty. It's easy to be a wicked nigga. It's easy to do that, but it's harder to be, walk a righteous life. And I'm not saying we're gonna be perfect, but it's a fight. It's a fight. All right. It says, "And keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." And see, the time is at hand. Yeah, you see it. Shit is popping off. All right. You got wars. All right, throughout the whole earth. All right. You got these people bugging out. All right. You got constant somebody killing their mother or mother killing their children. That's the love of many waxing cold. Esau's constantly, moving on this, how can I say, this, he's constantly moving towards, things being governed by, AI. All right. So what he could, roll in that micro C hip. All right. So things is moving. This is Luke 12 and verse 42. And the Lord said, "Who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing." All right. So see, you're in a blessed position if you're, found so doing when Yahushua appears. When he comes back. All right, because what, it's gonna be a lot of niggas out here that's gonna be what, they falling out this truth, or you got niggas out here that just totally rejected the truth. All right, they're not gonna be found so doing. All right, but for us, that's in a no. All we gotta do is just endure unto the end. What the scripture say? Let me see. Matthew 24, verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So see, it's about, enduring unto the end, Not about what you did, 2 years ago, or, things of that nature, but what are you doing now? All right? What are you gonna be doing, when Yahweh Shah is appearing? All right? Because you know, it's gonna intensify. This truth is gonna intensify. But guess what? If you truly believe, hey, you're gonna be delivered out of everything, you know. So we don't have nothing to really worry about, you know. So what we gotta endure unto the end, you know. And guess what? Hey, you know, a righteous reward is, you know, will be granted to us, you know, like the kingdom of heaven, you know, where everything is, beautiful, you know, everything is perfect, everything is just, no more sorrows, you know. But this is Proverbs 11 and verse 18. The wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. All right. So see. So if you out here, you know, you know, doing that's pleasing to Yahweh Shem Shah, guess what? It's gonna be a sure reward. You know, it's gonna be a sure reward. You know, a sure reward of the kingdom being beamed up into that chariot with that new body. All right. Who knows? Hey, who knows how that new body gonna feel? You know, that new body gonna be, man, spiritual powers. All right. Anything your heart can desire. You know. But what? Hey, we gotta, endure. All right. Let me see some. 2nd Ezra 8 and 52. For unto you is paradise open. Well, I started 51. I started 50. 2nd Ezra 8 and 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. And see, this is what we're about to come into. All right, many great miseries for a lot of these wicked niggas out here. All right, there's a lot of wicked niggas out here that reject this truth. Hey, many great miseries is coming to them. All right, verse 51. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. All right, and we've been blessed. You know, Yahweh Shem Shah gave us, you know, the gift of faith. You know, to what? Understand these scriptures. So what? Hey, we constantly should be, you know, what's the word? We should constantly be, you know, in the scriptures, you know, worried about, you know, as scripture say in Colossians, you know. I'm gonna get it real quick. Just get it. Salaki, bear with me. Salaki. Man, the fuck? Okay, it's right here. This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse. I thought it was chapter 3. Might be. Guess I'm tripping. Salakia. I guess I'm not mistaken. It's in Colossians, but it talks about set your heart on, set your affections on things above, roughly paraphrasing, you know. So our mind is constantly, on the kingdom, you know, on Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right. Verse 52. For unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared. All right. So unto us is what? Paradise. All right. Open the tree of life. All right. Immortality. All right. That's what's prepared for us. All right. The time to come is prepared, plenteousness and made ready. A city is builded and rest is allowed. Yeah, perfect goodness and wisdom. So see, this is a city is builded. All right, what's that city? That's the kingdom of heaven, our streets is gonna be paved with gold. Pure gold. You know, you could read about that in, I believe, the Tobit 13th chapter. You know, it's going in on the kingdom. You know, but what it say? Yeah, perfect goodness and wisdom. Or so like it, and rest is allowed. Hey, in this kingdom that we're in now, Esau, Edom's kingdom, we don't got no rest. We don't got no rest. That's why we want what? Prophecy to be fulfilled, so we can come into these days, It said rest is allowed, and that's man, shit. Yeah, perfect goodness and wisdom. All right, perfect goodness and wisdom. Hey, soon to come. Hey, we're not gonna be able to sin no more. Because we're going to, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to give us the new bodies, all right, to where we can't break no laws, all right. It says, the root of evil is sealed up from you. Weakness and moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten, all right. Just further expounding, like, hey, see, incorruption, all right. Hey, once we put on the new bodies, hey, shit, we gonna be good. It ain't gonna be such thing as what our bodies deteriorating, or us going off, or us sinning against Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. To the next thing you know, we gotta be punished. All that shit's gone. All that shit gonna be gone soon. Verse 54. Sorrows are past. All right, sorrows are past. All right, that's one. Hey, see, that's something that we're working towards, We gotta be working towards. Let me get something real quick. Revelations 21 and verse 4. And Yahweh Bashem Yahushua shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. All right, because what? The curse is going to be lifted up off of us. All right, we ain't going to have the curses on us. Plus, we're going to have the new bodies. All right, so hey, it's all that shit going to be through. We ain't going to have to worry about whatever you worry about in this life. All right, it's going to be, everything's just going to be perfect. Just as it says in Deuteronomy 28 chapter, that the curses will overtake us. But then you go up to around like verse 3 or something. The Lord was like, hey, if you keep these words, blessings will overtake you. So see, that's what we're coming into. Blessings about to overtake us. It says, and in the end, it showed the treasure of immortality. So see, never dying. All right. Because what? We can't sin, all right? For, scripture say sin is transgression of the law, all right? Romans 6 and 23, the wages of sin is death, So if we can't sin no more because of the new bodies, we got the law, statutes, and commandments downloaded within us, hey, you know, that equals life. You know, that's going to equal life. All right, never, you can't die. We can't die. See? So that's what we're fighting for. You know, that's why we want these prophecies, to be fulfilled. You know, so we can, have rest and be able to, enjoy, life. Be not, not having to worry about nothing. All right, not being able to sin. All right, it's gonna be beautiful. So that was pretty much it. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Going to give all glory and honor praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakodash, the honor set up our St. Elders Great Millstone. All right, Shalom.